Welcome to Insight Builder channel, Python experts and my dear friends. We had completed the part of collecting the data, setting up the app and writing the models. All of these things you can find it out in the respective videos in the attached playlist. In this video, we are going to see how to build the functions in the views file and then use it in the next step for populating the front end. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go to the CLI first, and here I have the project. So let me start this project. Going to the browser, you can see that I have got the categories and I have got the videos here. In order to place these videos and place these categories, we need to set up the backend views. Initially, when you are going to start, there is not going to be this HTML page, right? So let's go back to the PDF files. As I was telling, we need to first build the functions, then wire up the URLs, create the HTML. So as per this discussion, we have not built the function yet. So you will not have the HTML. That is, you will not have this page created. So how to start working on the views functions without having a page? This is one of the questions that we will answer in this discussion. Let's go to the CLI now. We will go into the views. We will go into the app grid_g, and what I'm going to do is the views.py that I was using for loading up the website that you saw a moment ago, I'm going to rename it. I'm going to say views to views old.py. In this way, this views file will not work anymore. So if I go and try to run the server again, it will error out. In its place, I'm going to create another views.py, which I'm going to open and start creating the views separately. We have to import the models. That is the first step. So before we import the models, we also need some supporting functions that we will have to import from Django. These are the various supporting functions that we need from Django. The Django.shortcuts module and Django.http. We need these two modules, and the Django.shortcuts will help to render and redirect the web pages, while Django.http import, the JSON response class that you see here, it will help us to send the JSON response to the server. So instead of populating the web page, we can create an API first using the Django server. We have to import the model. That is, we have to get the database models into the views file for processing it. We need to create our first view. We have to first of all know what kind of data we are going to process, and then we will have to execute it, right? So let's go to the browser. In this particular page, this is the page that you are trying to build, and we are looking at this data, 249 videos and 32 categories. This data is coming from the backend, and we also have the categories, various categories along with the kind of a list. Here also we have videos along with the name and a kind of a number. This kind of a data has to come from the background. So in this step, we have to first of all get the raw data and look at it. That is our intention. For that, let us go back to the CLI and start processing. We need to first of all create this kind of a function. The home function, the home page will have home function, the gallery will have gallery function. Creating functions that are linked with your the page names or the page purpose makes your life way more easier, and giving the necessary comments like this will also help you to build things faster. In this case, the command says that we'll render the home page of the project. However, we are not going to render the home page. We are going to provide the data, will provide the data for the home page of the project. Next, we have to get the number of categories and we have to get the number of videos. This is what we want initially. And next, we also want to get the list of categories and list of videos so that it can be populated inside the page. To create the JSON response, you have to create Python objects. Only Python objects can be serialized and sent to the front end. If you create the Django objects, basically what I mean to say is, when I use this line number 13, you see there is catex equal to category.objects.all. This will query the category table and get all the data. Basically, it will say select all, select star from category, and it will send the response. Same way here, I have not uploaded the videos objects, so I'll be doing it in the next video. But here we can see that it actually goes and selects all the objects, all the rows from the videos table, and then returns it back. For JSON response, that is, for this JSON response on line number 3, we cannot use this objects directly, because the category.objects.all will return the database objects. It will not return Python list. So we have to convert this to list like this, and we have to call the values like this. Then only we can actually access the data inside the row object that is returned, or else you will not be able to access. So this is what I want to say. I will also show you what kind of error you will get. We have converted this and we already have the text. So in this line number 17 and 18, I am getting the length of the category table rows, number of rows, and in video count I am getting the number of videos. Both of this data I am getting. Finally, I am placing all those data. This is a simple Python string literal that I'm using. You can see the F symbol at the beginning. I am just providing the data like video count and the category count here. You can see that. And next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dictionary. When you are going to work with JSON objects, the dictionary is the best data structure to use. Let's start. Context is equal to, again, the name is better to be given the same way as the variable that you have created in the views function. Catex with lists is again with lists, and then maintain the same kind of the variable names across the views function, whether you are using for gallery or for the home page. Maintain a similar kind of a variable names and a kind of a unified style sheet across the pages and across the apps. Continuing text. So ensure that all the things are ready. And finally, what we need to do is we have to say return JSON response, and we have to return the data, that is context, and say safe is equal to false. This is how we do the first return, and we save this views.py. So we have the function. Next, we need to wire up this function with the URLs. For that, we need to go to the urls.py. Okay, inside the app folder, we have to go into the app folder. Inside the app folder, we have urls.py. So this urls.py, let me open the urls.py. This urls.py already has got the gallery, filter, and homepage. So let me now copy this, and I'm going to say move urls.py to urls old.py. and create a new urls.py. Let's go to Vim and I'm going to open the new URLs. Here I am importing the django.urls.import path. So this path function is important for creating the paths, and then I am also importing the various functions from the views. Here we create the path element, and this empty string means that after the app path, the empty string will open the home page. So this is what the path means. The function that will be used for opening the page will be views.home. And finally, the name of this path is home. And I'm going to close this URL pattern. Yes, that's all. So the urls.py is already registered now. If you go to the project, and if you go into the project, you will see that the path for the app, the vid_g app, is registered using the include function. So if you guys have been following up with the earlier videos, I discussed this part, but again I'm discussing this. In order to link the views and URLs, also the background models in the application, that is the app, we need to tell to the project that my app is located at this particular location, and the path for the application related pages is vid_g, and the respective URLs are located in vid_g.urls module. The line on number 11 is telling that there will be media files involved in the database, so we need to render the media URLs also. So what I'm going to do is, now the views file as well as the URLs file is ready. So let me do a cat command on views file to show you again what is the views that we are having. So we imported the functions and classes. We created the function here, home function, and next we will do urls.py. We created the URLs is pretty small. If I do a check and we see there is no any issue. Let's now run the server. Run server. The server has started, and let us go to the server right now. There is an error that is popping out from the views file. Let's go to the views file before we go to the server. So in the views file, it is saying that the video count, length, widths, this particular on line number 18, the variable widths is not available because the variable widths has been changed. So we have to say video lists. So change it, and let's go to the Python server, and you see the server is up and running. Let's recheck it again. Okay, now let me go to the browser, and you see here the data as a JSON file. The data that we let me zoom in a bit so that you guys can see better. The context that we sent, the cat tags, the vid list, and the text. So the data that we sent and the list that we created. So all this we can see here. This is how we can create a basic JSON response API from the Django backend. Think about it. If you are going to integrate the Django backend with any of the JavaScript frontend, say Express or React, then you are going to get this kind of a JSON output from the Django, and then you are going to use your own frontend and then link it with that. Let's go back to the PDF. In this discussion, we saw how to wire up the basic views function. We discussed how to use JSON response to send the JSON data to the front end. We wired up the views function to the urls.py for all these things to work. So we did these two steps, right? Next, we need to create the HTML and write the DTL. In the next video, we will see how to do this. Till then, have a great time and practice. See you guys.